design is many things to different people. Most would associate it with art, fashion, and graphics. But that is only one facet of this multi-dimensional concept. Design, more importantly, is also the creation of human-centered solutions. They can be solutions to everyday challenges that make life easier, like adding wheels to your luggage to create the modern four-wheel suitcase. Or they could be solutions to global challenges that affect the lives of millions, like the creation of a shared network where information can be exchanged at any time by anyone at any location, what we now call the Internet. Design is the sum of ideas and expertise from different fields to create an effective, efficient, and sustainable solution. Nurturing design innovators is crucial to the continued advancement of humankind in a world bombarded by unprecedented challenges. They will transform our lives, drive innovation, grow economies sustainably. And at Singapore University of Technology and Design, also known as SUTD, our mission is to nurture the future generation of design innovators. Inspired by the evolution of design thinking, SUTD is revolutionizing design and leading the charge towards a new era of innovation. Students, of which 40% are female, are trained in design innovation and are immersed in a collaborative learning environment where they can easily go from concept to prototype, programming and testing. An interdisciplinary curriculum brings together 5-degree programs for more holistic and creative innovations, be it in education or research. We are united and inspired by a single-minded goal of improving lives and safeguarding our planet. We call this a better world by design. From autonomous systems that can learn and adapt to new innovations in sustainable materials, design with the power of AI can help build smarter, more enjoyable cities, unlocking breakthroughs beyond our wildest imagination. It will also help power our economy to stay competitive into the future. Design powered by technology and AI truly is here to help us build a better world.
Okay, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live. We are live here at the SUTD Auditorium at 8 Somapah Road. And although we can't be with you physically, we are very happy to be with you virtually today. And we're going to discuss something, why SUTD Design Focus session today. And we're going to actually take a trip down memory lane for me and ask myself actually why I chose to come to SUTD 3 years ago as a young man, or as a younger man. So I'm very delighted, I'm very blessed to have an amazing team of panelists with me today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves very soon, but maybe we can start off with Prof. Alindo. He takes the EPD pillar. And maybe, Prof, I can just ask, can you explain the concept of design in the simplest way possible to the viewers online right now?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right? But design is something that hopefully should be 3 things together, which is viable, desirable, and feasible. And if you have something, if you try to design something that is these 3 things, I'm sure you have a good design to present to your customers, or to yourself, or to your family, or to your friends, because design is always about others, not just about us.
Okay, so we heard the perspective from the professors. Now let's see what we have to say for the students. Maybe I can start with Ishika at the end. So what is your perspective of design after hearing Prof. Alindo's commentary?
I think for me, design is a lot more science than art. And I think many people have this misconception that design is all about how pretty something is. And even I had that before coming to SUTD. But now I feel like design is like about the usability of something, the functionality, and really understanding what the people need and using design to solve it.
Was there ever a time when, maybe you can explain to the online viewers, was there ever a time when design played an important role in one of your projects in SUTD?
Yeah, so in Freshmo, we have this module which is very design focused, 3007, which is our design project. So in this term-long project, we are guided through the design process. So my team worked on solving the problem of smoking and helping people quit smoking. So we use like the design thinking process to really understand the root cause of the problem. So we interviewed people who are smokers and to really understand what it is that will make them quit smoking. So we realized that there's a lot of social influence when it comes to leaving smoking. So we designed like this application and this leaderboard thing where you can compare your smoking score to your friends, and the social impact like helps you reduce quit smoking. So that's how that's how I applied design thinking to my project.
Okay, so may I can move on to Mr. Tenzin. Tenzin, you're actually says here you're a PhD in artificial intelligence. First of all, wow. Okay, so maybe my question I can ask is, since you're alumni of SUTD, how did design actually play a role in your current job as a PhD student in artificial intelligence?
Sorry about that.
Awesome.
So as a PhD student, I'm actually doing more science rather than designing things. And so I think there's quite a lot of correlation between the design process and research process, which is that you've got to find the problem and do a literature review of all the methodologies people have employed to try and approach that problem, and then assess whether those methods work and why they work, the pros and cons, and then you have to improve on that, and so that's where the design comes in.
Okay, that's excellent. Okay, maybe we have Bianca, who is our resident architect among the panelists. And none of us are architect students, we are all engineers. So maybe you can give those prospective architecture students a brief example of how design is actually incorporated into architecture.
Okay, thank you. I'm Bianca Gill, a registered architect from RSP Architects. And I think how design is incorporated into the architecture industry. So we are often given design and project briefs that actually laid out the issues that we need to address, as well as the parameters that we are bounded by. But to me, functionality of a space or a building is actually a given. But what we as architects or designers, like how we approach the problem, is to actually curate the experience for people using our products, using our space. So I think it's very essential to incorporate this design thinking and process even in the industry. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, well said. Maybe I go back to Prof. Alindo. Maybe you can ask how is this design actually applied in SUTD's curriculum? Because I was a student, I was actually one of your students from the 3007 in Freshmore, and yeah, we had a fun time. In fact, Ishika was in the same team with me, so maybe you can explain to the prospective students as to what design lessons are there in the SUTD curriculum. Yeah.
Sure, but how many days do I have?
In 1 minute, yeah.
There's a lot of things that we do about design, not only in 3007, but also throughout the whole curriculum, and further to that in our master's and our PhD studies. But in a nutshell, we take students from having their own ideas into realizing their ideas in some way. So going through the 4 Ds of discover, define, develop, and deliver. There are methods that we can learn in each of these phases. Of course, it seems like a sequential series of phases, but it's actually iterative, and there's a lot of back and forth that goes on while students learn how to apply these methods. But there are methods, there is some structure to the learning of design that we try to instill in our students. And once they know the methods, they can apply them as they see fit, or change the methods even, or improve on the methods. That's the beauty of design.
So would you consider the design like somewhat a secret recipe to the...
No, absolutely not. It's not at all secret.
Right.
But it takes some practice, and it takes some use to especially if you don't have a design background from previous studies.
Okay. And maybe I can ask Ishika one more question. Ishika, it says here that your team won the 30007 Best Design Award. Yep, congratulations on that. Yeah. Maybe you can actually share with the prospective students what your design was and you know how it won. I think you beat out 14 other groups, so that's very impressive.
Thank you. So 30007, so I'm in EPD, Engineering Product Development. So after the 30007 in Freshmo, we have another design module. So for my 30007, I worked in collaboration with HDX. So we built a ship hull climbing robot for them. So for coveted operations, they wanted like a robot to climb and attach a ladder onto the ship hull. So we basically built this robot using magnetic addition, which carries and deploys the ladder on the ship hull. Yeah, so that was the project.
So you built a robot that could attach itself onto the ship hull?
Yeah, so it basically climbs up the ship surface, and then it hooks onto the hull, and then it throws down a ladder, so people can secretly climb up.
And may I ask what is the purpose of this robot?
So they basically have like a lot of missions, which is kind of like confidential or secret at the sea. So they need to help people like, so they have this like small inflatable boat that goes near the ship, and then they want to like hook on this ladder so that people can like climb to conduct like inspections and stuff like
Captain
that.
Phillips, like the pirates?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's cool and all.
Awesome. And okay, maybe I get back to Tenzin. Before we start with our live Q&A, Tenzin, is there any projects that you did in SUTD, that had a heavy focus on design? Maybe you can share with the prospective students about that project before our live Q&A.
Sure. Well, is there any? I think all of them. So one that I would like to share maybe is a project that I did for iLight. iLight is an event where people submit projects to display a lighting installation. And one of the projects that I did was called the Butterfly Effect. And so what we did was we created a interactive lighting display where people could hit drums and they would see lights spread out. And so we really thought hard about how to make the installation self-sustainable, because part of iLight, like one of their core missions was to promote sustainability, and so we made everything solar powered. So yeah, we put a lot of thought into it, but it's a really long process, so I won't delve too much into it.
Is there a YouTube video online that the viewers can watch about your project?
Yeah, I think there's an Instagram account. You can go and search up Butterfly Effect SG. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'll check it out later. Lastly, Bianca, maybe you can share with us a design project that you did in SUTD.
Okay, yeah. So I think what was interesting in the SUTD kind of environment is that you can actually propose projects to your professors and collaborate with different individuals. It doesn't have to be from your pillar. So what I did during my fourth year was that I actually gathered some of my friends from other pillars to design a punching bag sort of recycling bin to interact users and educate them on the recycling. So when they punch the punching bag and they actually crush the cans, and it kind of compact the waste that they are throwing into the thing. So it kind of creates this gamified thing that encourages recycling habits. So I think it's a kind of culture that SUTD has that encourages people to innovate and create. Yep, thank you.
Okay, we're going to get back to you on the punching bag thing because I feel like I need to see this product for myself. But before that, let's just answer some of the live Q&A questions. We thank you for being online and asking these questions. Maybe the first one is, how much of actual designing of projects is integrated in the curriculum? I think that's a very good question. Prof. Lindom, do you mind answering this one?
That's an easy one. That's integrated in almost all of the curriculum. From first year in 3007, where people actually, students actually design their projects, their products, and they do a kind of proof of concept, physical proof of concept, so they have to build what they are trying to design. All the way up to capstone, where companies come to SUTD and they propose their projects, and they actually have a budget, students have a budget to build those projects.
How much budget was that?
Actually, it's around 5K.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Around 5K, if I'm not wrong. So students actually get to build what they are designing, which is a really, really kind of very interesting and very formative kind of experience.
Okay, I can't have said any better, I think. Maybe we can move on to the next question. Okay, so what are some upcoming areas that the panelists see design and innovation being integral in? Oh, wow. Okay, got to put on our thinking caps here. Maybe, Tenzin, you look like you have something, something to say. It's a good question, 14 votes.
Well, because, okay, I may be a PhD student, but I don't think I'll probably fit into academia that well. So when I graduate, I'll probably become an entrepreneur. And so several areas that I see design and innovation playing a big part of is basically all the industries that SUTD has identified as key areas, such as urban development, space, transportation, and what was the last one? Energy? But pretty much everything, I'm sorry to say, but whether you realize it or not, you're going to have to use design no matter what job you take up in the future.
Okay, awesome. I hope that answers your question. Maybe we can move on to the next one. Okay, awesome. Okay, so this question, he asked, why is design so important in the SUTD curriculum? And what kind of design are we talking about? So, I would say, I can answer this, I think. So come see for yourself. Join us at SUTD. Yeah. But basically, I think your question is, what kind of design are you talking about? Yeah, it's really the process of learning how to design. So I think that's very, very important, and that's something that I take away, because in the future, what we have to do is really build systems. For me, I'm an engineering systems and design pillar, so what we have to do is build systems that will actually suit society needs and basically our clients' needs. So this whole thing that we are doing, really the fundamental thing about it is the design process, because if we don't get that right, the rest of it is irrelevant. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. And join SUTD. Okay, can move on to the last. Do we have time for a few more? Maybe two more? Okay, we have two more questions. Okay, so this question is to tie into the question of why design is important. What are some industries besides healthcare that SUTD is delving into? Okay, that's a very good question. Maybe I'll ask anybody from healthcare. Oh, Ishika wants to take this one. Yeah.
Not healthcare, it says besides healthcare.
Oh, besides.
Okay. I think, the track that I'm pursuing is a very new track called Beyond Industry 4.0, which is very relevant to SUTD and SUTD's curriculum. So just to give you a little brief, Industry 4.0 is like the next industrial revolution. It's about like cyber physical systems. Like anything we use these days, they usually, like smart devices, they have an online platform, like say Uber or Grab. I think design is important in this new industry, because all of them are really about the user experience and understanding the user problems, and there are no new technology coming up now. It's not so much about the new technology, but about the application of it, and design really tells you how to apply this technology for the future and create something disruptive.
Okay.
Can I add into that?
Yes, you may.
Because I think that design is, as was mentioned already, is pervasive. It cuts across all the society, and this question is tied to also the clusters that we have at SUTD. So cities, aviation, healthcare, and design in AI. And when you think of aviation, you think, oh, no one is flying right now. But aviation is also about transportation. If you think of aviation as transportation, basically today you cannot do anything without transportation. So, and there's a lot of design in that area as well. And the cities of tomorrow, right? Or today, basically. So there's a lot of design in everything that we do right now.
So design is everywhere and anywhere, basically.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to see.
Okay. So, okay, this is a very good question. It's actually for Bianca. So for Bianca, may I ask, what can I do now to build an architecture-focused design portfolio? Okay.
Okay, good question. I think before you dive into your design portfolio, because a portfolio is the curation of telling people who you are. So it's very fundamental. You ask like what kind of an architect you want to be, what kind of design do you believe in, and the design philosophy. So by answering that question, and most importantly, why you do what you do, and by understanding that and understanding yourself, you can better focus on projects that will actually showcase your philosophy and your belief in design. Yeah, so that's how I do it as well. So, like for example, I believe that design serves a very fundamental need to answer people's needs and create solutions that better curate experiences. So I'm more into, let's say, social aspect of architecture. Some people are more into the digital kind of architecture. So yeah, it really depends on who you want to be and who you are as a person. Yeah, thank you.
So can I just ask, when you say like social aspect of architecture, like what do you mean by that? I'm just out of curiosity.
Okay, so for social aspect, it's more into understanding the ground, like how people move through a space, how people experience space. It's more of like a user experience, UI, UX. So people often think that architecture is just like high-rise buildings, etc. But actually the spatial quality is what I'm more intrigued in as well. Because I feel like when someone uses a space, they might not know what they need or what they feel, but it's through the very intentional curation of a space that people might think that, oh, I didn't know I actually need that, you know. But when they experience it, they feel good about the space. So that's, yeah, I think that's important.
Okay, so maybe can move on to the next question. Oh, this is a very good question. How much of digital and physical designing is involved? Prof, you want to take this? I think the answer is that both. As a student, I'll answer on behalf of Prof. So there's a lot of digital. Actually, it's I think 50-50. We deal with the hardware in SUTD as well as the software. Both are equally important, but for some projects, it demands more of the digital side of things. And of course, like for Ishika's project, if you're going to build a robot that climbs a ship's hull, definitely you have to have a lot of hardware, a lot of physical structures there. So hopefully that answers your question. But I would say 50-50, yeah. So that's a very good question as well. 18 votes, okay. So, okay. Next question, does SUTD touch on UX design as well? And which pillar will it be under? Tenzin,
Yeah.
that's yours.
Yeah, so yes, it does actually include UX as a module, and it's under ISTD.
Okay, and like out of curiosity, okay, I never touched user experience before. Is it a very difficult thing to do, or can it be learned?
It shouldn't be too difficult. You can learn it, like definitely. You just need to understand your own experience as you use the thing that you're designing. Yeah.
So yeah, one thing about SUTD is that at the first freshman term, there's a lot of there's this module called Digital World. I think me and Ishika took it. Yeah, so Digital World, and there's a lot of coding and programming involved. So I think my advice and Ishika's advice would be like not to fear it. And programming is something that you can pick up, and the SUTD will actually lay out for you all the tools and materials that you need to actually be I dare say a world-class coder. Yeah. And I'm not saying this just because the president is here. So let's move on to the next question. Is being able to draw well a necessary skill to be able to follow the design-focused curriculum? Wow. Bianca, maybe you want to explain to them?
Okay, I think we first have to understand the purpose of drawing. It's a tool to communicate. So we are not training people to be future artists. So I do not think like to be able to draw exceptionally well is necessary, but the ability to communicate your ideas is necessary. So I think, and that will be actually taught in all our curriculums, in all the pillars. Yeah.
But with that being said, you're the best drawer among us, I guess.
Depends on what she's drawing.
Yes, that's best.
Okay, we have time for a few more questions. No problem, no problem. So next question is, the design spectrum sounds more like an ideation proposal rather than a hands-on activity. How much of designing is part of the curriculum? Prof, you want to take this one?
Can I take that?
Yes, you may.
Because when we think about designing, there's this kind of buzzword that's design thinking, right? And people think of design thinking as just thinking. It's actually not true. Design thinking is about doing as well. It's just that you need to think before you do. And that's the real issue here. So people think that, oh, I had an idea, that's all. That's done. I don't need to do anything else. Yeah, but there's a lot of things that come after the idea. You need to refine the idea. You need to make it viable. You need to make it technically feasible. And that takes a lot of hands-on and takes a lot of experiment and trial and error. And the more you try, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you try. So it's really an iterative project with a lot of hands-on in it.
I can just add that actually me and Ishika, we are from the same design term in Freshmore, and we had 1,000,001 ideas. And out of the 1,000,001 ideas, only one was actually accepted by our professors. So yeah, there was a lot of ideation and a lot of failing and a lot of trying again. And so it's this process, this reiteration of actually knowing what the client or the project needs. That's what makes the design so important. Yeah. So maybe you can move on to another question. And by the way, thanks so much for keeping the questions coming. We are more than happy to answer these questions. So the next question is, what facilities, this is a good one, does SUTD have that helps students build their project? So Ishika, you've been in the Fab Lab, maybe you can explain.
So in your Freshmore class itself, every classroom has like 2 3D printers that you're free to use any time of the day and night. And apart from that, we also have like a 24-hour fabrication lab. And this is a really cool thing because I don't think you get this in any other university, and I'm going to miss it once I graduate. So we have water jets, we have laser cutters, we have 3D printers, we have every machine that you can possibly think of and materials available to design and prototype whatever we want. And the best thing is that a lot of these facilities are actually open 24 hours of the day.
Well said. In fact, which one, as in Backstage, there's so many interesting designs. Maybe you can share which one is actually built in the laser cutter. Which one is the laser cutter one? Is it the box?
Oh, that acrylic is cut in the
It's
laser
cut in the-
cutter.
yeah. Yeah.
Even this, that's all laser cut.
So the glass one is cut in
Yes.
the Fab Lab, yeah. So,
Yeah, then this is like 3D printed and laser cut.
okay, that's
Yeah.
great. And which one is yours? May I ask?
Shouldn't answer that.
It's not here. Yeah, yours didn't make the cut. Okay, so with that, we thank you so much for your time. We thank our panelists. God bless you guys. And we look forward to seeing you at SUTD. Do go on to our website, openhouse.sutd.edu.sg. And you know what? We look forward to seeing you here.